Welcome everybody, good to see you. Thanks for coming. Let's get going. Busy week last week, another busy week ahead. NASDAQ. So I'm going to zip through the indices and then go straight into stocks and commodities. So we had a steep drop on the Wednesday, which anybody who's seen my video will know all about. In fact, what I will do is just link you up to that. I did a great video on day trading and why I shorted the indices on Wednesday. So I'm just going to drop you a line on that, and then you can watch that another time. Okay, so Jackson Hole back end of this coming week. Jackson Hole was when all the US central bankers and the Fed chair go and have a big powwow and talk about the future as they see it. Okay, so on Wednesday, for those of you who don't know, we had Fed minutes, and the Fed minutes talked about tapering, pulling back on quantitative easing. Bear with me 1 second, just about to sneeze, hang on. Well, I've stayed off the sneeze. So the reason why I shorted is, let's go up to the weekly. 30 minutes, it's no good, is it? The weekly chart, and we are really flat. There's some divergences up here which are a little alarming for the bulls. Okay, so we've got these sort of 3 weeks in a row we're pretty flat. We made a deeper entrenchment into the support on that drop on Wednesday and we recovered, but we are completely flat for 2 weeks in a row with all that information behind us about tapering and Jackson Hole ahead of us. So why do I say this is divergent? Because if you look at the MACD, which is a very effective tool, here we are on the weekly, just coming into the midline, with the RSI coming off and the moving averages on the MACD pointing about to cross. The last time this happened was here. The last time we had the RSI coming off, the moving averages crossing was here at this height. So there's the divergence. We've made a new high from here, and we're making a lower high in the averages, in the MACD averages. There's your divergence, and the histogram is about to sit on the midline. So this indicator, it's a lagging indicator. I don't trade off this indicator, but it is a good indication. It is a guide as to what you might expect. And with the RSI coming off, this RSI can stay high as long as it likes. This indicates a strong market, not necessarily an overbought market. I don't see that as overbought. I just see it as a strong, potentially expensive market, and the weekly chart is flatlining. Now, in the meantime, what else has got me worried is this Russell index, the small cap index in the US. That, look at the way in which the MACD indicator has crossed and then just keeps getting lower. We had 2 weeks of lower closes here, and so and the RSI has come off and the volume's come off. We've got increase in selling volume, so we're coming down with an increase in selling volume on the small cap index. Dow, similar story. There's your divergence. We are making new highs. If we've had an engulfing bar here. We've actually got a sell signal on the weekly chart. Right, let me just pull all this back so you can see it. Okay, we've had a new high and new high last week and immediate close this week. So we have a sell signal in the Dow on selling volume. So what I'm looking for on this daily chart is, so we made a recovery on Friday, but I'm either looking for this to come back and sit up in the underneath this trend line, or we might hit 35.5, assuming I'm right on the bearish side, that is. And we did have a little buy signal on the daily chart here. We had a new little low in this and pushed higher. So it's mixed signals. I still believe this is a raging bull market. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute you exit the door, you just close everything, exit the door. All I'm saying is I think we're due a pullback. And typically this is where the time of year where you would see more volatility and a potential deeper pullback. Okay, so we might see some upside. We might even make a, get up there to close to 36k, who knows. But I'm potentially going to sell these highs. There's the sell signal on the daily on this Dow. New high, immediate engulfing bar on Tuesday. So we're already selling, looking weak on the Tuesday, and then the Wednesday, Thursday, overnight, we dropped close to 800 pips. I suggested the low was going to be 34,505. The low, last week's low, was 34,565. So I was 60 pips out from my prediction of the low on an 800 pip drop. I thought that was pretty good. Right. So short-term continuation of this move from Friday, but as we hit the middle second half of the week, I think we could be set for the start of a pullback. Given what I've said about the small cap index and the Nasdaq. Right, let's have a look at the dollar. So dollar is sitting right on top of this box. If we fall back inside here, this might retrieve the US markets. Basically what we've got is a flight to safety at the moment. A flight to safety in the dollar and a flight to safety in the gold, but not the silver. So if anybody who knows anything about those market pullbacks and reversals will know that these are signals that the market is at the very least hot, extended. This is the volatility index, so we ran up and then pulled right back on the Friday. You can interpret the volatility index just like any other market. So at the moment we have got, so we've had a pullback into the zone up here in July, pulled right the way back, and all we've done at the moment is pushed up and then pulled back into support. So if that volatility index breaks out, that is yet another indicator that this market could come off. Okay, so the market, the bull stepped in the back end of the week and saved the market, but I think they're on thin ice. Okay, right, let's look at so silver here is just not doing it. So that confirms what I said about a flight to safety. We have a flight to safety. In 07, 08, I was buying gold by the bucket load in a US dollar account, so that when I took my gold off in dollars and converted it back into sterling, my profits were pumped up by the fact that the pound was so weak and the dollar was so strong. I was able to buy, not only take in a lot of very handsome profit in the gold, I was able to extend that profit because of the weakness of the pound in that period. Let's have a look at the pound. Yeah, see, I suggested this pound could hold up. Now, okay, so we're in a box, so we looked as if we were going to hold it, but that prediction at the moment is wrong. Let's drop this back down to, yeah, so we've back here in July, mid-July, we hit the February lows. If this pound continues underneath here, then that is yet another sign of the appetite for risk is off. Euro is already closed underneath this level. If we pop back up here, that's actually very bullish for the euro. But at the moment, I think any pullbacks are potentially to be shorted, and we look as if we're coming down to 115. And if things really get going, we're coming down to 113. Okay, transport index. I don't normally look at the transport index, but seeing as I'm putting forward a bearish scenario, let's have a look at what the index is doing. You're not going to have, I don't think you're going to have a pullback. You don't generally get bullish markets if the transport index is coming off. And that's under support with the potential to, if we pop back above 83, then this could start to push up. But in the meantime, that is looking like it wants to come and test 80 at least. Right, so let's look at oil. Let's move on and look at oil. Here's another bit of a piece of evidence that we are risk off. Now, oil typically comes off this time of year anyway. I was suggesting that the oil might hold up here and push back up, but no. I was long the oil in the index last Wednesday and took a small hit, so I cut my losses and got out. And subsequently, you know, even on the rally on Friday, the push higher in the indices and markets on Friday, this oil was still coming off. So we've got we've hit major support. The next level down here looks as if it's 58.60. Okay, in the meantime, the wheat is doing okay. That's pulling back. That's a deeper pullback, which suits me fine. So if we're going to come back, if the dollar's going to get stronger and this is going to pull back further, that's fine. I won't be adding to that. I will just sit tight. Look at beans, and then we'll move on. You know what? It's about time beans. I'm happy for beans to come back because that gives me an opportunity to get in when they have reached a support level and confirmed that. So we got up as far as 1668. This is the last major rally from December last year. So we've got decent support down at $11.40. At the moment, that looks as if that could be, we could shoot through that at the moment. Coming down on volume. So what am I going to do with it? Well, with beans, like I said, I think at the moment beans look as if they are lower. Yeah, we're sitting, we just about held up on the trend line. But I tell you what, if we dip under 12.50 and then come back up, I'm in. But in the meantime, I will sit tight and not touch them. In fact, I'll take this trend line off for now. Leave it. Right, let's move on to, let's have a look at the European indices. So I've forgotten to look at the European indices. So NASDAQ is sitting on top of the box, but it is fragile. And if we start to close under 750, be careful. I think overall Europe is potentially in a stronger position, but sit tight. If the euro and the pound comes off, that is potentially beneficial to these markets, European markets. Let's look at the Footsie. Footsie is sitting on support. Potential. Let's have a look. Let me get the pen. Yeah, so we at the moment the highs are selling. We got a lower high here, and we achieved a lower low. We hit a double top and pulled right back. So if we continue to close lower here, we look as if we could wind down to 600-700. If we could get back above 71.50, then we could go up to that resistance level, the pink zone I've had up there for a long time. Right, stocks. Start punching in the stocks you're looking at. Bear with me 1 second, I've forgotten to get my list up. Should have got this up before. Right, let's start to go through it. Let's look at, excuse me 1 second. Okay, stocks. Ready. I'm a huge fan of BT, so I'm happy to see this pull back. If you look at the volumes here, they are just dropping off. So I'm very happy to see this drift lower. It's a bit of a scrappy chart, actually. I'm looking to see if we can possibly wind down to 150. But at the moment, it's weak with volume dropping off, so I'm backing off. Look at the banks. Sitting on an average, not going anywhere. In fact, let me update this chart. Anybody in Barclays? Okay. I mean, all the time they're holding that 177. I think we could continue higher. If it's a bullish consolidation, you might find that dipping into 170 and closing this gap. That gap's 168 is the gap fill. It is perfectly normal for a strong stock to just wiggle around like this, consolidate, consolidate, consolidate. And most consolidations are finished after a dip. So we've got all this support in the 177, but we've already seen a dip into 150. Banks generally do well in a higher interest rate environment. So if the Fed have said they want 2 rate rises next year and they're going to start tapering potentially in the end of the year. So if the dollar gets stronger and the pound gets weaker and the pound ends up having to put up rates, then these guys could benefit. So like I said, I suspect, given the weakness we've got here and the way it's not going any direction, I think that might, if your timescales are short to medium term, then you should have been taking profits close to these highs, or at least taking some off. If I'm wrong, all we do is come down to sort of 170, close higher, and start to pull back up. If the market risk appetite is off, then we could do a much deeper pullback. Either way, it's a good stock. It's holding up. Volumes are okay. It's just not doing a lot. And if you're in it for the long term, you're going to have to sit tight. Lloyd's Banking is not going anywhere. That looks, it's coming to some decent support, but I think it might want to come lower. I think that might want to get closer to 40. I could be wrong, but I think that looks like it needs a better dip. Standard. I actually prefer this one. I think it's had a decent run into 467. Again, I can see that pulling back. It's got decent volume up there. It's not a whole lot better. I think Barclays overall, if you're going to go in any bank on the LSE, I would wait patiently for pullbacks in Barclays, but that one's volume's good, and but it may well pull back given the sort of circumstances I've just described. Let's look at miners. An update on these miners. Sentiment. I'm not a fan of sentiment, but the volume is beginning to pick up there. It's still, the fact it's not able to get above the pound mark is weak, but it may be one of those stocks. If it gets above the pound, it may get a shot in the arm and start creeping up. BT did this. It stayed under a pound, and then once it firmly sat above a pound, it moved very swiftly up. I'm not in it. I'm not liking it at the moment, but it's something to watch if you are interested in miners. POG. I'll just let myself get stopped out of this because it's really scrappy. The volume's rubbish. I'm just backing off. I am in this one, but this is pulling back. Pan-African. I'm not impressed. If I'm honest, I'm not impressed at the moment. The fact that I'm not entirely certain exactly what metals they do, apart from I know they're involved in gold. At the moment, I would suggest that could come lower. At the moment, Griffin, I have to say lower. I have to say that might want to come back to 80 885, and POG we talked about, polymetal. The volumes in polymetal, this is perking up. Volumes are not bad. It's vulnerable. I mean, any market that can't get above the 20-day average, you should be concerned about, and that one can't. So that's by no means better than the others. All the miners are still struggling, and I'll be very careful. Watch your risk, manage your risk in these stocks. Right. Green core, I've just gone into. So we pushed up into 135, finished the week on 131. I'm not impressed with the way in which that finished the week. Not impressed at all. The jury's out on that. It's sitting on top of that pink zone, but just concerned about the volumes on that. That's Glencore, I don't like it. Glaxo, but you're very quiet. Any stocks you want me to look at, guys? You're very quiet. Anything you want me to look at? CMCX. Okay, before I do that, let me just skim through rolls. Consolidating, looks as if it's going to come lower first. Okay, I have done the DAX. I'll quickly go over it again a little later. Let me just skim through the rest. EasyJet to me is a bellwether. So let's just M&G. Okay. Not impressed. Looks lower. But if that closes above 805, 810, I could be tempted in. Tesco, yeah, that's been doing so. These supermarkets are doing incredibly well. They're cash cows. So Jet2, okay, good. Yeah, keep these coming in. BP, we've not looked at. Given what we talked about, oil. And that's sitting on a major average with volume. So that has been as high as 332 this year. Sitting there at if you're interested in a good divvy stock, that is definitely one to watch. Cine, yes. 1 second. Oh, it is. This is what I wanted. Right, let's go through some of these stocks. Right, you want to look at Tesco. It's holding up really well. There's so much interest in these supermarkets. Wow. Look at the weekly. They're getting chased up, aren't they? So we're just coming out of this pink zone. This pink zone was a serious problem in 2014, right down to 15, where we reversed. So we pinged out of this funnel pattern in Feb this year. That's a bit hard to call, but given volumes are not brilliant, I think it's vulnerable. I think it's vulnerable. I'm not impressed with the volume, given what I've just said about the. Okay, we'll look at the pound Swissy as well. Given what I said about the markets, the appetite for risk, I think that's vulnerable. Let me do a last. So this was 2013. Let me just run my marker over this. So that was the last big range before we popped. So we've got a major resistance up there at 250. Once something's run like that, it's hard to call it, because if you're in it and you have a long-term view on it, stick to it. If you're looking to get into it, I would just back off. I would wait. Let's have a look at Sainsbury's. Yeah, so Sainsbury's, that looks vulnerable as well. Why? Because it's a lower close, the volume's falling off, and it looks vulnerable. So we've closed under 296. Okay, so we're toying with this big three quid mark, aren't we? We've got a gap down there at 260. I have to say at this stage, I think that looks vulnerable. I did look at sentiment. Did you not? Have you just joined us? Let's look at IAG. Okay, right. Let's zip through these other ones you've got here for me, and I'll IAG. Wow. I mean, look how we've gone up on lower volume on this weekly chart. As we pushed up, the volume's come off. And the volume has not crept back on that one. So the main got a key level of support under there at 157. 150, yeah, 147. I've got that has to come lower, surely. Technically, with all the technicals I got in front of me, that looks lower. If you're looking to buy, if you're looking to this with a view to buying it, I would sit tight and see if we come into 135. Let's look at Cine is one I've been following. We looked at this last week, didn't we? Cineworld. Looks lower. I mean, it's right. It's in support. Let's drag this over. It's in support, but I think that's a bearish consolidation. That's incredibly flat. All the highs are selling. There's no volume in it. There's no bullish volume in it. I have to say at the moment, I think that's lower. Are you in it? Get to, and I'll come on to M&G. I've not been following Jet 2, so let's have a look at that one. I think that's a great short. I think that's a potential short. Certainly looks as if we're going to come and see 1066. Very important number in the UK. I think that looks like a head and shoulders sell. Shoulder, head, shoulder. That's the neckline. So if we close under this neckline, if we come lower and close under here, I can see this falling off. Were you looking for that? Were you looking to buy and hold? What's your attitude towards this stock? What do you think about that stock? Just because I think it's a short doesn't mean to say it is a short. What do you think? Let's have a look at the daily. Whoa, that makes me even more bearish. I think, I tell you what, if it comes down to, I'm looking at this bar, this range here from November. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that back at 922. CMCX, did we look at that? CMCX. CMC, I don't know what CMCX is. Oh, CMC Markets, right. These used to be the bad boys of the spread betting world. I won't go into why. I don't like it. They keep flogging it and selling it. Yeah, we've had a decent drop. The high got sold here. The high got sold here. So we're getting lower highs and lower lows. I think that could fall out. Okay, it's had a decent volume came in on Friday. It closed into this resistance. It's not for me. I just wonder if if that pushes up into 435, if that's then going to wind its way down. What do you think? Right, let's carry on looking at the others. I'll make a note of that. CMC. Let's look at you might be a bull flag. Okay. Well, let's look at let's look at the sector. I can't remember IG's ticker now. IGG. See there, the CMC are the weak link in a strong sector. I personally wouldn't buy it. I think that there are better stocks out there, but I understand why you're interested because it's a decent, interesting move on Friday. So I mean, if that move on Friday is sustained, then that could punch higher. But overall, I personally don't like it. Right, M&G. We didn't look at M&G. Now, this is a very interesting one. Where's the main support? Where's the main price support? Let's go to £2. It was recently as far as 247, and we're sitting here at about 2.9, 2.10. I would give it more. I think I do like the chart. I do like the company, and I do like the sector. If you're in it, great. Keep your stop out of trouble, and see if you can sit in it and ride it. But at the moment, I just think that it's not. I don't think it's completed its pullback yet. So look at the weekly. That's 2 weeks of lower closes. Why have I not got more data? Okay, this is a really nice area. It's definitely a nice area. I just think it might want to come lower before it kicks higher. I think that's a very good one. Thanks for drawing that to our attention. Let's look at, is that Diasorin a European stock? Let's have a look. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. Split from the Peru, right? Okay. Right. Can't find that. Is that that must be a European stock, surely? Can't find that Diasorin. Yeah, okay. What else are we going to look at? I've forgotten. Yeah, right. General. Keep punching in what you want. Suffering from oil weakness. Wow. This is why I'm actually quite light on stocks at the moment overall. There was no volume. There were clues to this. There's the clues. We're making a series of lower highs. We had support under there. At 133. That's a hell of a drop. But I think it was in the charts anyway. I mean, look at the close on Thursday. Any chart that can't close under a 20-day average, be very careful, because on Thursday, so we looked okay on the Tuesday, 17th. A little bit higher close on the Wednesday, and then had a very nasty close on the Thursday, and then that drop on the Friday. Right. Ooh, right. See, General's had a history of this. General, from my knowledge of General, I researched this a while back. I've not updated that research, but General was dealing with some volatile areas, politically sensitive areas, wasn't it? And it has done since it had a pipeline. It was trying to build a pipeline through parts of Russia, wasn't it? My information's old. At the moment, I can see us coming into potentially a pound, given the bad news and oil. That looks lower. Right. The other ones, let's get an update on IQE. It's doing okay, but it's vulnerable. So see how this chart is. This is a daily. We're above the main 20-day average. Now we're above the main 50-day average, but just sitting just narrowly below the daily 20. We have got a bullish cross in the averages. I'm not a huge fan of averages, but they're worth watching. IQE, I'm okay about being in IQE. I'm not jumping up and down and not adding because the volumes are so low. Avon, yeah, Avon, that's what I need to look at, isn't it? Yeah. AVON. Ooh. Wow. Well, there's some nasty charts out there. No, is the short answer. Let's have a look. Let me answer that in more detail. Wow. Well, that's a major level. That certainly has fallen into a major level. So 1859. Right. The main pivot is obviously 1800. I think that's come down on a lot of volume. That is a really bearish chart as we stand at the moment. I can see that coming lower. I mean, the main support's down at 1560. I can see that coming. There's the low from March last year, which is 1780. I wouldn't touch it at the moment, personally, because you might find that coming into 1570. I think if you try and buy that now, you're potentially buying a falling knife. That is a horror. I have to say the sell volume is looking as if it might be drawing to a close, but there still are sellers out there. I mean, I tell you what, if on Monday we close above 20, then that's a reversal, pure and simple reversal. If on Monday we close above 20, if we get there later in the week, I would be skeptical about. We would have to do that on Monday for that to be a reversal. Otherwise, I would just steer clear. I wouldn't touch it personally. There's something I missed on the miners. Let's go back because I'm very interested in this particular. I want to go back to this miner. This one got pumped up. Blue Jay, was it you that posted it, Andy? Phoenix, yeah. This got pumped up and dumped, but I am interested in it because there is a story behind it. If the volume starts to support a buy, this is one of the miners I would like to look at. In the meantime, that is looking lower. So I'm just updating myself on this. Yeah, could see 1075, and there's a gap fill at 1004. I think that's coming lower. I'm interested. Phoenix, yeah. Ooh, yuck. Right into that pink zone. It's falling, continues to fall right into the pink zone. There's no volume in it. It's hard to see that not continuing and following and falling into 6. Are they a miner? Ex-dividend, right? It's hard. Again, if we close above, this is the daily chart. If we close above 635 in the next day or two, then I would be definitely interested. We've got major support just under here. In fact, let me review this because the main support is there. So if we come into that pink zone and hold, and the volume increases, I would be in. This is oh right, okay. Pension funds, closed insurance, right. Okay. Right. That's got me interested. There's an area I would invest in if that proves good. Quick look at sentiment while I got this list up. It has definitely perked up on Friday. I think if it closes above a pound, I think that might shoot, but it's not closed above a pound and the market's rocky. Right. What else do I want to look at? What's this Canabo? I've forgotten to keep an eye on Canabo. No doubt I've pronounced that wrong. Just no volume in it. Oh, there's more. Yeah, it's just, this must be AIM. Had a decent run, didn't it? They're at 25.95. This is interesting. I like it. Wow, there's not hardly any stocks I've really liked today. A little concerned about, right. Yeah, it's only been on the market since Feb. And it's had a high of 50.60. That's a really interesting stock. I'm going to do some bit more research on that one. Right, I'm almost done now. LSE is doing okay. Struggling under that. The volume's not bad. All these spin-off opportunities. Medical cannabis, right? Okay. A lot of that's a really interesting sector. That is very interesting. Yeah, LSE, it's got some volume follow up. We've had a good move into 81.50. Might well pull back, but overall, I think it's good. I'm interested in the fact that volume is sustaining those price levels. I think that I haven't got anything else on my UK list. Anybody got anything else on a UK list? Right, I'm going to flick through a few US stuff. I've been looking at EOG. Let's have a look at your ENPH. I'm liking this. That's a lovely chart. Volumes coming in the last couple of days. If that gets above 171, I can see that popping up. Cellular goods. Okay, I'll look at that in a sec. Let me just look at. Let me see if. So that Fubo had a really good run into 32.70, but look, it's just pulled right back. That is potentially good for another entry. I would hold fire, but I think Fubo is. This is the kind of trading I like, where you've got volume, volatility. Look at the way the volume came in on this. This is why I do like that. That's a full-blown reversal signal. We made a new low and immediate close above. That's what that's what you need to find. Look in Avon and these other stocks that have been hit, and General. Anything that's had a deep sell. See, the sell wasn't that deep because the volume was low. So it's come down on. This is a classic reversal to me. It's come down on low volume, tick, engulfed the new low, tick, volumes high, tick. This, I've got 3 decent ticks down there, and we potentially got the same here again. All that support, if that closes above 25, and we can attack and get through 35, then I can see that going to 40 plus. So I can't tick enough boxes yet. I need that to close above this level here, 25, 26. That's item number 1. Number 2, I want more volume. And then I would take a trade with a stop underneath this support and a target of, well, I would go for 44. I would go for 44. If I can buy 25, 26, I would target it at 44. Yeah, Chinese stocks. In fact, yeah, I'm going to close this up soon. Not many people seem to be trading US stocks anyway. Medtronic is sitting up. Square is a good indicator. That is good. That square is exactly what I'm talking about. New low in the range, immediate close above. To me, that's a buy at 259 with a stop under 250 with the potential to go through the 300. So I like that one. DraftKings is a good one. DraftKings is consolidating, might need to come lower before that goes higher. Bristol Myers is good. That's going on another run on volume. Netflix, I haven't looked at Netflix for a while. Look at that. If you're interested, I would sit tight and see if that has a bad day and a pullback. Right, XPEV, XPeng. The volume is improving. I wouldn't buy it, but personally I wouldn't buy it yet. I'd want to see that close above 40. If it closes above 40, I think we'll see 47 pretty quick. I wouldn't be a buyer right now. Earnings this week, okay. Let's go look at something, yeah. What was I going to look at? It's gone out of my head. Oh, Alibaba. I'm out of this. Got taken out on Wednesday. I'm really surprised to see that. Look at that, it's come down on volume. Okay, Carnival. Okay, yeah. So I surprised to see that drop so hard. So I'm well and truly out, and but I will monitor that because if I got stopped out of Baidu as well. If you look at the Chinese index, China is leading the way to the downside. So I was looking to see if Chinese index could close above 15.5, and we are back down at the lows, close to the lows. So this is, this is why I don't. This is yet another reason why I think that we need to be very careful here. Not so much in Europe, but in the US. I mean, if China can't hold up, then yeah, Japan can't hold up at the moment. Japan's touched support, but the volumes are still lower. Right, I'm going to look at Carnival and then I'm going. I do not trade Carnival because I don't like this sector at the moment. I know Carnival, these cruises are very popular amongst a certain part of the population. I would hate to be on a cruise. I would not go on a cruise. It's got the volume. It's made an attempt to, it's not even pulled back into that trend line. The volume was good on Friday. Like I said, I don't like the stock, but I think it's vulnerable. It's under 3 key moving averages. The stock is so weak; it's under 3 key moving averages. It's not a stock for me. I mean, if you want to buy it, then if you see something else in it, or then go ahead. I mean, on the upside, we had a decent push up here on the 21st of July, 5th of August, and the volume on the Friday was good into the weekend. So that's the plus side. The downside is it can't close above those averages, so it's not a stock for me. Right, thank you very much for your company, and I'm off now. I will do a quick midweek review, and hope to see you then. All right, thanks very much, guys. Have a good evening, and see you soon. Bye.